Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Bob Phibbs. It is July 26th, 2020, and I am Bob Phibbs, the Retail Doc. You're joining me live on both LinkedIn and Facebook today. So it always takes just a moment for everybody to start seeing it. And please type in where you're joining me from. You can make sure you give me some thumbs up. I'll make sure that I know that you love what I'm doing. That's always great, too. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world. I want to hear from you. So type it in the comment section so that we can understand we are all here. Waiting for my first one. Come on, someone's got to be out there. Someone's here early in the morning. There we go. Hey, Jen, glad you're here from Marietta, Georgia. So this morning I wanted to share a personal triumph of my own that you may not know about that the retail doctor can do. Did you know that I can wiggle my ears? Yes, my dad used to wiggle his ears as some kind of a carnival stunt, I guess, with family and friends. And I saw that as a little boy and I thought, oh, I should do that. I don't know why, but that seemed to be a big deal. And the thing was that you have to really think that you can do it to begin with, right? So you have to think that, oh, how cool would that be? Which again, at 5, I don't know why that became cool, but I wanted to do it. And then it was a matter of concentrating. You really just had to concentrate, like, okay, so I want to wiggle my ear. And you really had to find that connection and say, all right, that's important. What's it going to look like? And see it. And then you had to practice it so that you didn't have your forehead doing it, because that's not really wiggling your ears. That's wiggling your forehead, and these guys kind of follow along with you. So I didn't want to do that. And then once you do it, right, once you've mastered it in the mirror, then you need to be able to show it off and brag about it, because I guess that was the whole point of it when I was 5. So here you go. So there they are. You can see, hopefully you can see that on your computer screen. And once you start doing it, then you think, well, what if I could just do one? And so I can do just that one for some unknown reason. And I thought about that recently when I've been quoted an awful lot in the last week. We get an awful lot of people asking me, what's it going to take for retailers to be able to come back from this? And what do we have to do? And we really have to concentrate on where do you want to be in 6 months? Where do you want to be next year? And see it as possible. Because once you see it possible, then you just start thinking, all right, well, what will it take? But then you really got to concentrate. What will it take? Instead of being drawn into petty little crap that doesn't really matter and takes our focus away. And we, look at the clickbait on Facebook or LinkedIn. Oh my gosh, there's another story about a mask, and we get 5 minutes of our day gone, and then we follow the rabbit trail. So there's 20 minutes gone, and we start fearing and all of that. And I'm just saying it's really important that you look for, what do you want out of your business? You want to live the life you want? If you're a C-level executive, if you're running a mall, whatever it is, see that future. But don't be afraid of that future. You've got to see it and think, okay, I can do this, then concentrate. What's it going to take? Again, there's no manual for how to wiggle. Well, at least there wasn't in 1963, a manual for how to wiggle your ears. And then you just try to practice it and practice it. And it's the same thing for your crew is going to need that as well, right? Because so many times we just say, oh, well, just go wiggle your ears. And we leave them to figure it out. And that usually doesn't give you results, because you didn't teach them. They don't know what success looks like, and they pretty much blow you off. And that's not going to get any difference. And then you just have to practice over and over. So one of the things that I do is, when you have one of those thoughts, that voice comes in, I'm afraid. Give it 90 seconds to visit. Okay, there it is. And then you've got to do something. I'm going to talk about that in one of your questions today, too, because somebody asked me, how do I get the energy back in my store? So I hope that you're going to hang out with me. Usually this goes about 25 or so minutes. So again, if you're just joining me, make sure that you type in where you're joining me in from. And if you have a question while I'm live, you can certainly go ahead and ask it, because I will answer it. That's why I've been here for 3 years, just for you. So there you go. Just a quick shout out to some people. Hey, Daniel, you're just down the way from me in Poughkeepsie. I'm about an hour north of you. Good morning, Cheryl. You're always here. Thanks so much. Hey, Tristan, glad you're here. We got someone from Vietnam. Hello, someone. And we got Caro from Montreal. Thanks so much. Jonas, when am I coming to? Oh, you're from Fort Lauderdale. Gotcha. I was like, when am I coming to Fort Lauderdale? That's a good question. Kuala Lumpur, Tunisia. Wow, we got a lot of you here from all kinds of different ways. I thought somebody would have meant some comment about my wiggling the ears, but I don't see that on here, so that's pretty funny. All right, so the questions you have for me today, let's get to those. Jody says, I'm not much of a devoted follower for any guru. During COVID, I just wanted to see what other people thought as we were in such an unprecedented time. You were the one person I turned to, and I so appreciate all of your information. Oh, well, aren't you kind? Thanks, Jody. As we are finding new ways on selling and social media, how about sharing more info on how you combine platforms for your live shows or apps that work for you and potentially could work for us? Maybe even tell us more about the equipment you use. Really, I need the details. All right, Jody, really, I need the details. All right, well, let's start with the basics. So the camera I use is a Logitech Brio 4K. It clips on the top of my monitor, and it really gives a great picture. You can also, there's an app that you can use called Logi Capture that you can change the how close it is to you. I've got this set a little bit farther back than I have, but sometimes when I'm making a virtual presentation, which by the way, I'm a motivational speaker. I'm obviously not up on the stage right now, but I'm doing virtual training, virtual keynotes. So I have to be able to present back, or sometimes I'll be standing up like I would be in a regular hall, but that camera makes a big difference. Number two is I use StreamYard when I'm doing this for LinkedIn and for Facebook. It gives me more options. Also, it automatically adds the captions, which is great. Also, it automatically posts to your page and says, you're going to have this live video, which is great. And it automatically sends out something to your followers in about 10 or 15 minutes. Hey, they're going to go live. So all of those reasons, I think it's great. They have both a free and a paid version. I use the paid version because their logo is a duck with a set of earphones on it, and it's got a $sign in it, which the first time I went live with that, people were like, what's with the duck? So it's not very expensive. And then the mic that I always use is a Rode Podcaster, which is probably overkill. It's very big, but and I never know, does it go straight up or does it go towards your face? But that's how I use it. So I hope that helps. You were asking me if I could do a workshop on it, and maybe I will for my SalesRx users, because ultimately I have to look at the value I add to people who give me money, folks. In case you didn't realize it, my business has been impacted too, and I need you to be able to step up and keep me in business as well. So I'm adding more value for them, and it should be added for you. You should check out salesrx.com to learn more how I can personally train your crew. And we're having several of you actually come back to me who've said, when I was with you before, we're just coming back. And I go, SalesRx is nothing like it was even just 2 years ago, because we have expanded to 120 lessons. We have our dedicated customer service expert, Mary Grace, who's a former Disney trainer. And we have pieced all of the content together to train the trainer and the associates. We are not a bunch of videos like a lot of other people do. We actually give a damn if you learn it. So I encourage you to check out SalesRx. We've got some great trials going from some large retailers, and I hope if you're watching that you will take it out as well. But make no mistake, it's like the ears. Unless you go through and concentrate and believe that what you want first and you make it happen and come up with something like that, I think it's tough. So Roberta says, is it tacky to sell masks with our store logo, and is there any liability? I am not a lawyer, Roberta, so I couldn't tell you, but I can tell you there's a ton of people carrying masks, and if it concerns you, you could make a little dynamo or a little Avery label and stick on there. It does not protect you from COVID. But I think it's the fashion accessory. If you can have fun with it, if you can go through and make it interesting and different, I think it's great. I think masks are going to be with us for the next 2 years. I think it would be interesting if somebody opened a mask store. God knows, when I was in Vegas, I saw a sock store. So why not a mask store, mask and sock store? I don't know. But our goal, I think, if you're going to do that, is try to have fun with it. Don't take it so seriously. Nobody wants to come in and feel worried and have something horrible. Try to find a way to, if you're going to merchandise it, have fun with it. All right. Hey, we got Fernando from Barcelona. That's nice. Joanne from Lehigh Valley. You're a regular there. Hey, Aaron. I'm glad that that's helpful for you. You know all this stuff, Aaron. I think you do such a fabulous job. I always shout out to you. Latoya, what do you predict for the future of the retail industry? Latoya, what do I predict? You might get a mini rant, those of you who know me here. So here's my big thing. we are watching Rocky, and we are in the first reel, and a lot of people are panicked, like, oh my God, he's not going to make it. He's not going to be able to compete. He's going to lose. And then we stop watching, and it's like, let's just think of all the ways Rocky's going to not be able to do it. Open the damn app back open. Continue watching the movie. It's going to work. People are always going to shop. People are always going to be able to find jobs. Are there going to be as many jobs in retail? No, because the lower wage workers, quite simply, if the only value you add to a business is you can stock and sort and transfer and pick inventory, you're not going to make much money, and you'll probably be replaced by robots. And that's just the way it's going to be. And the same thing with cashiers. If you don't add value, if somebody's not willing to get into your lane because you rock their world, I think you're going to have a tough time. However, the smart ones, the ones who, unfortunately, there's a lot of great talent out there right now, because a lot of these big brands are just wholesale chopping off their legs and saying, well, it's only a flesh wound. We'll be able to run without them. Perfect example, Neiman Marcus closing their location that is less than a year old in the Tony Hudson Yards Mall in Manhattan. That's a pretty big blow. Well, there's a lot of great talent out there. And so that great talent that is out there, that has a proven track record, that gives a damn about selling, that gives a damn about creating a relationship, that understands that it's about making somebody else's day, you people are going to have a great future, because you are the future of retail. You are the ones that can let go of the crap and the board and all the cliches that we've seen in retail for 2 or 3 decades, and you're the one that's like, damn it, let me at them. How am I going to make more sales? I've told you about Kathy Udell at Wilkes-Bashford in San Francisco. I will tell it to you again. She is booking more business as a virtual salesperson than she actually did in her sales as a salesperson in the store, because she has available hours all the time. And she can sell when she wants to, and can do whole makeovers and virtual styling, and gets people to pay for it. So there's a million ways that we're going to have more opportunity. It's just going to be different. But I tell you what is not going to survive is the asked and answered retail. Can I help you find something? Yes, I'm looking for this widget. Oh, well, we have that widget. It's over here. Oh, great. We go over there. Oh, well, we're out. We could ship it. No, thanks. Well, we could ship it to you right now. No, that's all right. And if that doesn't die a painful death, I would be surprised, because frankly, we go online to buy, we go into a store to discover and be entranced. And if you find someone that can entrance you, you're great. If you're a merchandiser, stores have never looked prettier. But we have to get out of this idea that what we're hearing over and over again is it's about protection. It's about making sure everybody feels safe. It's about making sure it's like, okay, that's part of it. That's table stakes. I get that. But to take your eye off the ball, which is to make somebody else's day and encourage them to take it home with them today, misses the point. Retail exists to make a sale, not to go through and be a pretty store that people are like, I really like your store. You didn't buy anything, but I really like your store. It's so cute. That doesn't pay the bills, right? It's no different than me watching me do a video for free, or actually paying me to actually do a bespoke training program for your company. There's a big difference, right? But make no mistake, we got to stay in business. So that means you're going to have to arm people with people that give a damn about your store, that are passionate about their lives. They have goals. They're out there doing things. They are part of the community. They love coming to work with you. And more importantly, they execute the job. And if they're using Sales RX, they're actually doing it. They're not just saying they took the training, right? So I hope that helps. If you can't tell, I'm pretty pretty big supporter of retail, if you couldn't tell that, LaToya. So there you go. It is going to be a tough holiday season, but so what? When hasn't it been a tough holiday season? I've been through 4 or 5 different downturns. I've been there after 9/11. I was there in 97. I got manager of the year when we went through a recession. I was there when Reagan got shot. I was there when 2008, when the financial collapse happened. And I was also there when I was going through college, and everybody told us, oh, no one's going to be buying for a long time. That's ridiculous. People are going to be buying. In fact, June sales were up 7.5, naysayers. Oh, but the shutdown is coming. Yeah, the shutdown may happen, but people are still buying, and people are buying in quantities, and they're excited to do business with retailers that are helping them support their goals. But if you want to be the sad sack that pours water on everybody who walks in the door, oh, isn't it horrible with COVID? I don't know if we'll be able to survive. Then don't be surprised that you're not in business. Malls who are standing around with their, oh my God, what's going to happen to us? Get a damn plan and commit to it, see it, practice it, and go after it. All right, so there you go. Patrick, what are the critical skills for retail trainers in the future? Well, I'm a retail trainer. The critical skills, you better know what the hell you're talking about, because at the end of the day, being brilliant on the basics is what it's about. I don't care what is going on in the world. You can't remake how we become friends with people. You can't say suddenly there's a different way to make rapport. You can't suddenly throw that all out the way and say it's just a matter of knowing your facts and figures. That hasn't changed, right? My dad used to say, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, that, oh, retail will never be the same. Well, a lot of the skills that were in retail that weren't being used are going to come roaring back here in the second half as people realize, like, holy shit, did we miss the mark in the last 2 or 3 decades when we assumed it was all about selection, price, and promotion, and it's really about engaging the stranger, making them feel they matter, and converting a walk-in to a buyer. That's all that matters. So a retail trainer better be able to model it, to be able to understand it, and they better be able to duplicate it and inspire others to do it as well. If not, you're checking boxes and you're not a trainer. You're just somebody who's a poser. So there you go. I hope that's not you, Patrick. All right. So Jonas, preach it, brother. Thanks for that. Mark, it's a big chance for independent retailers. You are darn right. I'm glad you like that, Latoya. Well, let's get to your other comments here, because I don't have a lot of them here for you today. But by the way, if you like this, whatever platform you're on, if you're on LinkedIn, you got to give me some applause. If you could give me, if you want to just give me a thumbs up, that's always nice. Or you can give me some hearts because you love my rants. And I know there's people of you that live for my rants. And that was a mini rant. It wasn't too rantful, but there you go. All right. Jim, Top Fan Jim says, what factors my business should be considered in analyzing our strengths and weaknesses for SWOT analysis? So, I mean, the basics are always the basics, Jim. So it's going to be your marketing, your promotions, your margins, your KPIs, your online reviews, social media, website traffic from organic. By the way, if you didn't see the big hit that happened to most of us in May when Google did their core update, you better take a look at it, because a lot of things got demoted significantly in the last 2 months, and you better be on that. Better look at your training program, your shrinkage. Basically, Jim, anything you can think of that gives you a snapshot of your business is where you start, and you can get overwhelmed with it. So pick 5 that to start with that come to mind first, and then write those down, and then go on to the next 5. That's what I would do as a consultant. Virginia, what's your recommendation of how to handle our personal social media platforms with our customers? I try to keep politics off my business page, but occasionally I post sensitive political and COVID-related things on my personal page. It's getting to the point where I think I shouldn't friend my customers. What do you think? Virginia, I do not friend most people on my that ask on my personal account, because that's my personal account. And my business is my business, and my personal is my personal. So I feel no compunction to, just because you ask for it on your personal page, that I will do it. So there you go. Top Fan Lauren says, with COVID cases increasing, should we require employees who travel out of state for vacation to quarantine before returning to work? Lauren, I love that idea, because, and I looked at your follow-up to that, said something like you have an employee who is going to Florida for a few weeks. And boy, that is a tough one. The question becomes, are you going to pay them before coming back? And, what do you do if they say, oh, we didn't go and they really did? What if they, suddenly it can become quite a quagmire. I think do your best guess, whatever is right for you. And if you want, certainly talk to a labor attorney and just make sure that you're not in violation of labor laws, because I'm not a lawyer. Patrick, I know you've discussed this before. This has a new twist. Our Christmas merch is arriving along with our Halloween merch. Okay. Is it just too early to put it out? Usually I hold it till September. Thanks to you, no longer November. But should I put it on the floor in a B location now? Patrick, I always say you can't make money on stock in the back room. So if there is a place to put it, we're almost to August, and having Christmas out in August, I know there's people on here that'll be like, that's ridiculous. I can't believe it. At the end of the day, those of you who follow me know that, you know what happens when you put it out? People do it. People are going to be buying early and they're going to be buying less. So the sooner you get my $5, the less somebody else, a competitor, is going to get that $5. It's really that simple. So put it in the back, have it well displayed. Don't just have it look like garbage. You know, it doesn't have to all go out, but you certainly can put whatever your most, I would just say, put whatever your most expensive items are out, make sure it looks well, and make sure that you're talking it up to your people as they come in the store. Question would be, do you want to put that on your social media? And I probably would not put Christmas on social media, because all the haters are going to jump on. And then, you know, by the way, I just have to tell you a quick story. So, you know, I had some people comment on one of my posts a week or two ago, and let's just say it was a total opposite of what I say. And they had these links that were just garbage links to rumors and, you know, conspiracy theories and all this stuff. And I just deleted them. And then this one person just kept egging on my fans. And finally, I just banned her. So the next day I get a call from this person. Did you ban me from your page? I go, I absolutely did. Well, why? After 9 minutes, I suddenly realized I am talking to someone that is not adding value, is not a customer. And I said, do you feel like you've had a fair hearing? Well, yeah. I said, good, because we're done. I have no compunction to have, this is not a democracy when you follow me. This is my worldview. If you want it, great, here it is. But I am not here to go through and have it hijacked by your own personal interests. So I hope that helps explain when it comes to your own pages versus your personal page. Kim, we don't have our fitting rooms open and guests are having a hard time with it. I don't know what you sell, Kim. You said something about you couldn't put it aside for 72 hours because of limited products. So I'm going to assume you're either a rental or a consignment or second life merchandise store. Can you give me good statements to use? I feel like try them on. Kim, it's really simple. It's got to be in your welcome as they come in. You know, good morning, welcome to Kim's. While our fitting rooms are not operational right now, we encourage you to be able to buy it and return it within 72 hours. Let's have something that's just boilerplate and say it at the beginning. Do not wait for them to say it, because you're going to be in trouble. Also, make sure you put that on social media as well. Let's see. Jonas, Bob, curbside pickout has been essential for us at Office Depot in the last few months. Of course. Any selling skill recommendation for curbside pickup? It is such a quagmire, Jonas. There's no two ways about it. Curbside, to me, I mean, what are you going to do? You know, as you're bringing out the order. By the way, we have these iPhones on sale, right? That doesn't work. The key is to make sure that here's what I would do, Jonas. If it was me, I would confirm the order. I would call them and say, oh, you know, we noticed you ordered, I'm trying to think of products from you. I was going to say baby clothes. HP printer 54 cartridge. You know, we have you probably could use the paper as well. I would call and confirm. And if I can't get them on the phone, I would send a follow-up email as well. But the goal is you've got to do it. Most people are running to curbside like this is the lifesaver, but really it's a margin killer, because you don't have the discovery of having someone come in there. The only other chance you would have would be a follow-up, you know, hand them something that you print off with the order. So that would say, here's your item. And in the bag, let's say it's going to say, you know, other items you might want that go along with it, and just write it out really quickly. Here's 3 things and put it in the bag. I mean, we got to find our way through it, Jonas. That's my whole point. We don't know what's going to work, but I'll tell you, indecision, waiting, hoping isn't going to do it. Dusty Springfield song, wishing and hoping won't get them into your heart. It's the same thing. We've got to find a way, take action, commit to it, and then judge it, and then do more of it. Angel, I haven't seen anything, but I'll let Daryl know to be on the lookout. I have no idea what that is, Angel. All right. Ellen, whatever virtual things you do, please remember to explain every time the who, what, when, where, and how to do it. Lots of folks are trying new things. Yes, that's very true. Stacy, exactly. We call it the bitch and buy. People, why is this out? I'll take it. So exactly. All right. Store it on the floor. Exactly, Jonas. You're exactly right. Cheryl, we confirmed curbside and asked they need anything else that might work with the items they purchased, such as a crib. I would be more so, Cheryl. The only thing I would say is I'm not going to ask them if they need anything else. I'm going to say, just like Amazon does, people who bought this also bought, and then only 3 things. Boom, boom, boom. Would you like me to explain those items or add them to your order? That's about the best you could do. I hope that helps. Casey, business has been really good since we reopened. I'm hearing this in half the stores that I work with. Will that sustain? Will the bottom drop out again? I realize you may not know the answer to that. Should I grow my business or should I save money or both? Should I go big or go home? Oh, for God's sake, Casey, I do not have a crystal ball, but I can tell you that there is always opportunity in the face of crisis. There is always something we're not looking at that we've been putting off long ago that we can change. There is always something that a competitor has been cleaning your clock and is now gone that you can step in and take over. So I think it really comes down to your risk assessment. I am not an advocate of saying, well, while everybody's going out of business, you should open 5 stores. I'm not that. Or buy a failed store if it's a failed brand, right? But I am saying we are going to see as we come through this, that people are going to go back to brick and mortar stores. People are going to go back to conferences. People are going to pay more for your items, provided they're curated well. And your employees are going to need more training than ever because that asked and answered retail is dead. So I just say to you, Casey, give yourself 90 seconds to make a decision, whatever it is, a small decision, and then say, I'm going to go with it, and then follow it. The biggest thing that retailers are running into right now that I'm hearing, that I'm seeing, is indecision. Oh my God, I can't get enough product. I can't get enough product. And they're selling products they don't even have in their store, which is ridiculous because the supply chains are broken. In fact, I'm writing about this tonight in my newsletter. The supply chains are broken, and having these promotions and events where people are waiting 2 and 6 and 8 weeks without hearing from you and knowing that it's going to be back in stock, that's fruitless. Why are we doing that? Because we've always done it that way. Well, rethink it, because it's not going to be as promotional. Somebody was saying last week, I guess Macy's has 85% off men's suits. At that point, 85%, you just sit there like, what would that even be like? I mean, you're putting it in the wrong, they're putting the emphasis in the wrong place. How are we going to sell these instead of how are we going to just get this stuff through the store? And ultimately, that's what you need to look at as well. You're doing well. I'm thrilled with that. Is it going to sustain? I'm talking about that tonight. Is what are you going to be looking at as categories and merchandise picks up, and look for those markers and be able to go with it. Let's face it, vendors are as nervous as you are, so they're going to be making deals for you right now to commit to an awful lot of merch. But I'll tell you, when it gets farther along in the season and we start getting through things, and if the rumors about a vaccine are true, we can start to let go of that fear. You're going to have a flood of opportunities for you. So be partners with your vendors, but also realize that great deals are like a bus. There'll be another one coming along shortly. All right. Let's see. Larry, I know I already answered that, didn't I? Oh, no, you're just saying we've been extremely busy up to 6 p.m. for last year since reopening. Anything from outdoor furniture, new Christmas items. People love supporting local and looking for personal experience. Yes, they are. Exactly. All right, we have our one last one. Do me a favor. If you're on LinkedIn, give me some applause. If you're on Facebook, give me some thumbs up or give me some love. Because quite simply, there is no one out there that's going to have the voice that I do. It's a voice of certainty. It's a voice of hope. And it's a voice of can do. And with the actionable steps, you can change your business, whether that's through SalesRx, my online retail sales training program, which you just go to salesrx.com, or my virtual training I can do now with your crews, or my virtual speaking. Ultimately, there is no one in retail that has the creed that I do. Ultimately, I've done it. I've worked it. I've done the 70-hour weeks over and over again. I've got my first house. I've been through an awful lot of recessions and downturns. And the one thing that always comes back is it comes to you, the person in the mirror. Either you can or you can't. And the more that you keep filling your head with I can't, you're in trouble. Which leads me to my last question today from Top Fan April. The overall energy in our store, it's been really tough keeping people motivated to work. I think everybody got used to not working, and now it's been tough getting back in the groove of things. So April, the one thing always is we tend to forget is you change the body, you change the emotion. So I always talked about when I was in retail and those sluggish afternoons, where you had a big sandwich for lunch and all those carbs are percolating through your system and you're kind of in that, oh, I don't want to go out and work. That's the time you do calisthenics. So I would go out and do jumping jacks in the stock room, or I would shoot imaginary hoops. That would be it. Another one, you can be going through and having your employees call your customers. We do a Zoom call, do something, but you've got to keep the action going in the body, because when we just sit or we just stand, everything stops. So if you want, one of the things that this is an old one. Also, Tony does this when I was with him last week, is you take your hands and you put them over your head and you just blow out all the air from your nose. Do that 30 times, do 3 sets of them, and then just pause, hold your hands open, and then just think of 3 things you're grateful for at that moment. Things from the past. Could be when you were a kid, could be a moment from yesterday, could be a moment from school, could be, doesn't matter. Birth of a kid, marriage, doesn't matter. And hold that in your heart. And I guarantee you that starts to bring the energy level up in your soul. And from that, you can motivate other people. Make no mistake, if they're not motivated, they're not motivated. You have to be motivated if you're going to work in my store. And if you're not, you know what? I got 14 million people I can choose from. Retail has never had a chance to upgrade their systems like we do now. So I hope that helps. And by the way, let me know, what's one thing you got out of today? What's one thing you got out of it? Type it in there in comments. What's one thing you got out of my experience with you this morning? We're coming towards the end. I'm wrapping it up. I see one more question here. What's one thing you got out of it? Just type it in. Just type it in. What's one thing you got out of listening to me this morning? Alicia says, we need to relocate due to high rent. New landlord raised our rent double. Boy, that's crazy. In this market, I can't imagine that. We don't have the new space yet, but I'm looking for a new location. How do we go about letting our clients know? What do we say? It's real simple, Alicia. You say, we're going to be expanding our business because we've had so much interest. And what I want you to do is to join our newsletter, or you're going to have them follow you on Facebook, or you're going to say, so when the time comes, I'm going to need your support because we're going to have to bring you from here to a brand new space. It's going to be more magical. It's going to be more fun. And it's going to be more devoted to who? To you. So make those over and over again. Remember, just saying that once isn't going to do it. Make sure that and then you're going to make a big deal out of it when you do move. You're going to actually show the moving van, and you're going to show how excited it is. And then you're going to take a video showing how this is the quick way to get to our store. If you're used to this, show them how they go down an alley, get on a freeway. It doesn't matter. You could use, hyperlink on Instagram so that you could compress it all down. But whatever, have fun with it. Have fun with it. Ellen, great attitude, energy. Your energy is key. It comes back to us. I can rock this. Exactly. Thank you very much. LaToya, always stay positive. Bravo. Doing nothing definitely doesn't work. The indecision is going to kill you. That's right. It's all about creating that customer experience. I love that, Frank. Now is the time. Brick and mortar shops are still important. What I got out today, review and renew my mindset on the content I create. There you go, Patrick. That's it. One thing that if you're really struggling, and one thing that's just the most basic, I'm a choir director, and you may not know that I'm a choir director. And the news a few months ago, when they had this panel speaking to the ACDA and several other choral organizations, was that people shouldn't be singing in public for at least 2 years. And I just found myself body block hurt from that idea that the human voice, the most personal thing we have, is not going to be encouraged to come together and form music. And I think back to that one of the things you learn when you're singing is how important the breath is. And that would be one thing I would want to leave you all with here today. So just do something really simple from your chair. Just take a nice deep breath in through your nose and let it actually go down. Think of it as a fish hook. It's going to go down your body and kind of come back up so that your tummy swells out just a little bit. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. And just hold that for a minute. And now just let it out with a sigh. But don't let your shoulders go down. So let's take one more with it. Just breathe in. And you'll find, as you change your body, you change your state. As you change your state, positive energy comes back to you. And more importantly, you build gratitude. Unless you're grateful for what you got right now, that is the rung that the ladder has to go up. If you don't have that, then you have nothing to go on. So most of us have to rebuild that and realize, oh my gosh, there's 50 rungs of a ladder beneath me that I should be grateful for. And when we take that, and even just a moment in taking a nice breath, or whether you're doing that motion, making sure that the body has enough oxygen to just relax us and realize, yeah, we're in the first reel of Rocky. He's going to do the punch, and we like the music. We're going to enjoy this. I'm Bob Phibbs, the Retail Doc. Thanks for joining me here. Tell your friends to join me next week at 9 a.m. when I answer your questions live on both LinkedIn and Facebook. Thanks again.